Yeah, my voice is it's a little bit hoarse. Please forgive me. If you have some, thanks. So first of all, can I say how absolutely honoured and privileged I am to be asked by the Muslim Sisters of Eire to speak at this special event for them. If there are two issues that mean more to me than anything else, they are Palestine and the right for people to have a secure, affordable roof over their head. And the Muslim Sisters of Eire embody the determination to achieve justice and fairness on both of those issues. And that is why I am so honoured and privileged to be asked about your work week in, week out with people who are affected by the homeless crisis is truly inspiring. And yeah, I can only thank you from the bottom of my heart for the work that you do. It shouldn't have to be this way. There's no reason for people to be homeless. We're a very wealthy society, we're a very wealthy world, and it's wrong that anybody should have to struggle to just have the most basic thing you need to exist as a human being in our society, which is a secure and affordable roof over your head. How are you supposed to function? How are you supposed to contribute to and participate in society? How are you supposed to develop as a human being to your full potential if you don't have that basic thing of a secure, affordable roof over your head? And I think the Sisters of Eire understand that. And like very many other people who've started to get active over recent years on this issue, that it is the most basic thing. But I have to say, your work in this regard is really second to none. And I think that you deserve our enormous gratitude for the work. And of course, there's a connection, isn't there, between the unnecessary suffering of people who are affected by the housing and homelessness crisis and the suffering and hardship that we are now witnessing the people of Gaza having inflicted on the people of Palestine, because Palestinian people, much as Israel and its supporters would like to try and dehumanize them and present them as somehow lesser human beings and therefore justify the savage, brutal slaughter, the genocide that is now being inflicted on them, we know and we understand, and indeed everybody should know and understand, we're all just human beings. And the reason I'm involved in politics is because when I was 18, I went as a student from in UCD. I done my first year in UCD, and I went with a few friends. I had no idea about the politics of the situation, but I went to Israel and came back from Palestine because I didn't really know what the situation was. But when I arrived, working down in the Nakab for Israeli farmers, but I was working alongside Palestinian refugees whose families had been expelled during the Nakba in 1948, and they had been refugees, and their children and their grandchildren have been refugees ever since 1948. And they explained to me, this was in 1987, they explained to me about their history. And I saw for myself, however much propaganda is used to justify the Israeli regime as some sort of normal regime, I saw with my own eyes how the racism was absolutely endemic against the Palestinian people. It was an exception for an Israeli to actually see the Palestinians as human beings on the same level. Overwhelmingly, racism was just rampant, and it justified, the filthy dehumanization of Palestinian people, the exploitation of Palestinian people. And I remember I met, in those first few days, I met a young man. He was the same age as me, and he was from Al-Khalil, Hebron, as the Israelis call it, but Al-Khalil, from a refugee camp there. And he was a student of Islamic literature. He graduated in Islamic studies. And despite the horror that he was a victim of, the apartheid, the exploitation, the dehumanization, he said to me, despite all of this and despite the racism I saw in front of my eyes day in, day out, he said, they're our cousins. He said about the Jewish people, he said, they're our cousins. And he talked to me about how, Jesus was a prophet for the people, for Muslim people as well. He said, we're all cousins. And as much as they throw down this hate and discrimination on me, I don't hate them. I just want to be treated as equal. I just want justice. I just want a future where we can live together. And that's what it's all about, whether it's housing and the right to have a secure, affordable roof over your head, or whether it's about ending the horrific system of apartheid that dehumanizes Palestinians and treats them as lesser people. The answer, which the Muslim sisters of Eire understand, is no. The real thing is our common humanity, and that we have to fight for a society where we're all treated with equal respect as human beings, regardless of our religious belief, or nationality, or ethnicity, or the colour of our skin. When we're asking for justice for Palestine, that's all we're asking for. And I remember it so well because at that time it was young people. They say it's Hamas did this, that, and the other. When I was there was no Hamas. It was just young people who graduated, in my friend's case, from university and had no future. And were looking forward to the prospect of no future at all because they were treated as lesser beings. And they were just young people in unarmed protests, faced with the brutal military machinery of the Israeli army, shooting them, beating them. That's where this started. And indeed, way back in 1948, where Jews and Christians and Muslims had lived together in peace in the Middle East for thousands of years, until other forces came in and set people against one another and tried to create hierarchies and divide people in order to pursue their interests, oil, control of the Middle East, or whatever. And that is the link as well, isn't it, with the housing issue? Isn't it that there's some people who profit from the misery, the housing misery of other people, and there's some people who profit from weapons of war, from trying to control resources, trying to control land, trying to control property, instead of recognizing what the Muslim sisters of Eire, and I think any common decent human being does, is the starting point for everything, for judging everything, should be our common humanity, regardless of your race, your colour, or creed. And that's what we're fighting for in Ireland, and that's what we're fighting for in standing with the Palestinians as they face this horror. But I think if we all had the determination, the resilience, of the Palestinian people and of the Muslim Sisters of Eire, as week in, week out, they go out to stand with those who are suffering, who are those who are facing unnecessary hardship, then I am confident we can get soon to a world where we will all have our common humanity respected, to a world of freedom, of justice, of human decency. And I think we should hold on to that belief. Even in this darkest hour that Gaza faces, I am confident that we will reach that end. And I want to commend the Muslim Sisters of Eire.
Thank you so much, Richard. That was a very powerful speech, and I think I've seen a lot of tears being wiped, so thank you so much for that.